So let's consider this molecule here, whether or not it actually has a polar bonds, and whether it's a overall polar molecule or of the dipoles that cancel each other. So first off, let's draw the Lewis structure. Nitrogen, if we look at our periodic table, nitrogen will have 5 valence electrons. There's only one of them in the formula. Hydrogen will have 1 valence electron, as always. There are 3 of them in the formula. Oxygen has 6 valence electrons, and there's 1 in the formula. So that's 6, that's 3, that's 5. 5 plus 3, that's 14 total, right? 14 electrons total. Now let's look at how the formula is written. It looks like we have a nitrogen with 2 hydrogens bonded to it. That nitrogen is bonded to an oxygen, or an oxygen which is bonded to a hydrogen atom. Now we have to fill out the lone pairs. So we need to put that so nitrogen has an octet, and that so oxygen has an octet. All right, now let's go ahead and consider polarity of bonds. Nitrogen and hydrogen, those are polar bonds. Remember, we actually just showed it on the last slide, or in the last video, where we have nitrogen, hydrogen. Hydrogen is 2.1, nitrogen is 3.0. So these are polar bonds. So the polarity would be going this way and this way. Now, if we look at the nitrogen, oxygen, again, going back here, we have oxygen 3.5, nitrogen 3.0. So this indeed would be polar with nitrogen, with the polarity going that way. I need to have my little crosses through there. And finally, hydrogen and oxygen, we'd have polarity going this way. So this is the polarity of the bonds. Now, whether or not this molecule is overall polar would require us to actually build the molecule in 3 dimensions and check out and see where the polarity going. My gut instinct is that it would be a polar molecule, but I'd have to actually see the molecule in order to figure out what direction the polarity is going. So with more complex molecules, you probably won't be able to figure it out, things with multiple central atoms, but I might ask you to draw the dipoles for all the molecules, so things like this. Remember, you can also put like partial negative, partial positive symbols instead of these arrows with the lines through them.